And I think we are live, and I am so happy to be with you guys. Welcome to the Big Picture Philippines podcast. And today I have a very wonderful guest with me. I'm so honored that he said yes. And in fact, I had to reschedule because I've messed it up. But nonetheless, I'm so honored that he is still with me. And he is with us today to share all about this topic, interesting topic that actually one of the, I think, core, if not the top skill that one should learn. May you be an entrepreneur, may you be an employee, or someone who, even students, right, who wants to ace their course or whatever they're going through, reportings or whatnot. So, as someone who is I am a firm believer that public speaking is the one of the best skills that could lead you and open a lot of opportunities. And I found this wonderful person from our community, of course, the Toastmasters community. And I've been with Toastmasters for 7 years. And for the past year, I've actually seen this person compete in our contest back in Cebu. I saw it when everything was open a year ago, but now we're all stuck. But the thing is, I've noticed a really great. I aspire to be like this person, how he talks and how he displays himself as a public speaker. I'm so honored to have him, and he is actually currently working at a consult. Was that the consultant of this a semiconductor company, Amplion, and he is the thing about him is he is what do you call this? John Maxwell team of speaker. So you're part of that, trainers and coaches, which is amazing. And definitely one thing that I really like about his bio is that he is passionate in living a purpose-driven life. And I mean, that's just amazing how you put that way. And you've also listed here a depression survivor and overcomer through God's grace. And aren't we all, struggling one way or another, especially during this time? Maybe we can tackle a bit about that in our interview. But nonetheless, please help me welcome, guys. For all of you who are watching this, for people watching right now, please invite your friends. Please help me welcome Toastmaster Julius Cruz. Julius, thank you.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Dave. It is my pleasure and my honor to be part of your passion project of this wonderful session. And yeah, magandang gabi, good
Yes.
evening, maayong gabi sa inyong tanan, right? Who are currently listening and watching us here live. And yeah, just to add some notes, I'm currently working in Amplion as director for quality management now. Yeah, among the other things that I am busy with, and the other thing would definitely be Toastmasters. Yeah.
Awesome.
So welcome.
Yeah, and you know what, Toastmaster Julius, no, and we call ourselves, by the way, sa mga nanonood nito, baka ma-culture shock kayo with Toastmasters. But yeah, we call ourselves that way. And in fact, may mga terms pa nga kami, like distinguished Toastmasters, which is actually a good, if you're in that place, no, where you want to basically improve that, formal setting, etiquette, and all of that. So, Toastmaster Julius, can you share a bit about what's the story behind why you're so passionate about this public speaking or this skill or in Toastmaster in general? Can you share a bit about it?
Yeah. There's a quote from John Maxwell which goes, "Everybody communicates, but only a few connect." And that quote, when I read it, it really resonated with me because indeed I can talk for several hours, but if despite my talking for so long a time, I'm not able to connect with the audience, then my objective for speaking is lost. So when I read that quote, I said, wow, this is a game changer quote. And coming from that, it inspired me to really be a communicator who connects with the audience. And that is what inspired me actually to join Toastmasters, because as you mentioned earlier, Dave, public speaking is a very important skill. I mean, name every field that you can be in, is very important. So I said, yeah, definitely I would want to grow in this skill and not just communicate, but really connect with the audience and share messages which would add value to audiences and empower them.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm a firm believer about this public speaking because I don't know if that I think so. I read this somewhere. I got this somewhere lang and this might be a good opener for our topic. That there you only need two skills now, and this was coming from the founder of the chicken soup guy. Forgot his name.
I think it's Jack Canfield.
Yeah, Jack Canfield. Thank
Jack
you for
Canfield,
reminding me.
yeah.
Yeah. So he mentioned in one of his speeches or in the book, perhaps, he was quoted, na you only need two skills to actually succeed in life. Amazingly. And obviously, you know that other skill, diba? And he mentioned that first is, of course, you need to figure out your finances, parang how you handle finance, like how you manage it. The second one, if you have this now, you are set for life. Basically, the other set of skill is communication or public speaking or basically communication in general, how you can communicate, negotiate, persuade, whatever, or tell stories, which is very powerful nowadays. In fact, one of our guests recently, Ben Francia, mentioned that it's all about building relationships and connecting yung digital marketing, the simplest form is all about connecting, building relationship and communicating well your message. So that's why I'm pretty big with this kasi I don't know about you, but I believed in that. When I was younger, I believed in that. And until now, I think it holds true. If I just take care of my finances and communication, I build better relationships. So what do you think about that, Toastmaster Julius, about how communication can actually improve your life? No, can you share some instances, maybe opportunities that came in just because you have built that?
Well, first, I would like to say that communication is actually the foundation of several of the key skills. I would like to mention leadership as another skill which can be learned. But as we all know, it's hard to be an effective leader if you cannot communicate well, right? When you're a leader, you have to cast a vision, and it takes communication to cast a vision. When you are a leader, you have to build relationships with your team, and it takes communication to build relationships with your team. And likewise, I am also a firm believer of being good in terms of the financial aspect of my life. I attended several workshops and conferences here and there. Likewise, for me to be able to share the value of finance, I need to be able to communicate properly. So coming from that context, I would really say that from experience, communication is very important. I would like to cite a case in point. My progress from a corporate perspective in terms of promotions and in terms of achievements were all made possible because I was able to communicate my value proposition.
I love that.
What I can do in the company, what I can do to build a high-performing culture. Everything, all those aspects need communication in an effective and efficient manner. And so communication was key in my progress from a corporate perspective. Likewise, not only in my corporate life is communication important, but I would say in each and every aspect of my life. Take, for example, my relationship with my wife. Before, I used to be a person who listens with the intent to reply, not with the intent to understand. But because of Toastmasters, especially Dave, you know this very well, especially our portion on evaluation and feedback.
Yes.
It inspired me and compelled me to be a good listener and to listen, not just with the intent to reply, but to listen with the intent to understand, or what they would call emphatic listening. I really learned that skill in Toastmasters. And because of that skill, which I also applied in my personal life, especially in my relationship with my wife, this time when my wife talks to me, I'm really listening with the intent to reply and not preparing my answers in advance for whatever she's saying. And that has, I would say, that has led to the strengthening and blossoming of our relationship.
That solves a lot of problems.
Yeah, it solves a lot of problems. Exactly. There are a lot of problems which spring out from limitations in communication and gaps in communication. So definitely it helped, in my personal life. Likewise, I would say, yeah, in my financial life, it helped a lot because when I learned to really listen, I was able to really listen clearly to the finance gurus and to really understand what they're saying. And likewise, I'm able to share some finance tips to my friends and to my family members. So it takes communication to be able to flow the message and add value to other people.
Amazing. You actually shared a lot of things in that answer, TM Julius. No, like you mentioned, uh, let's break it down kasi marami yun eh. There was value proposition leadership, empathic listening. So let's start with leadership. Kasi for me, no, it's a lot of people confuse leadership. Like there's so many things around it. There are actually a lot of books about it. There are a lot of a lot of terminologies like you're this autocratic, ano ba yan, democratic, mga leadership styles, di ba? But if it all boils down actually to how you communicate, and it's interesting, no? Parang analogous sila in a way na parang they are side by side. Let's focus on that. So with leadership, how come communication is really important when it comes to becoming a good leader? Right, because let's dig to that, TM Julius.
Sure,
Can you share your thoughts on that?
That's a topic I'm very passionate about, leadership, right? Okay, so how can communication actually enhance and I would say empower your leadership? I think a good way to answer that question would be to start with a definition of leadership. For me, leadership is actually the art of influencing other people to collaborate towards a shared vision. In one word, leadership is actually influence, as John Maxwell would say, nothing more, nothing less. But for you to be able to influence other people, you must be able to communicate what you value within yourself and what you value for them, where you want them to go, what your vision is, what your methodology is, what your philosophy in life is. So even if you can have all these bright ideas, but if you cannot communicate the vision, the methodology, and your value proposition, then basically you cannot lead well. So coming from that definition, definitely for you to be able to lead properly, then you must be able to communicate properly. Now, extending that further, now in the present world, the common conception of leadership is actually position. If you have a title, if you have this corner office, if you have this very big name tag here with some title, then actually that's a common definition of leadership. But actually, position-based leadership is actually what John Maxwell would say the lowest form of leadership. Now, for you to be able to progress from the lowest form of leadership to the highest form of leadership, along the way, you really have to build effective relationships with your people. And for that to happen, you must be able to communicate effectively with your people. And of course, to communicate effectively with your people, that demands, I would say, effective communication skills. Not just effective, but empathic communication skills. Because your people would really be able to feel if you value them, if you value what they value.
Yes.
And if you are really able to lead them towards that shared vision, which you would want them to reach.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, that exactly explains it all, no? How leadership actually is connected talaga with communication. And in fact, in Toastmasters, di ba, the more you show up there, the more you're actually communicating, even if different roles ka. Like you have to communicate. In fact, like even the back end works is all about communication, no? Like Like
Yeah.
someone setting up the meeting actually has to communicate to a lot of people, and you have to either, kasi in a Toastmaster setting, for those who don't know, no, it's like we create meetings na kami yung gumagawa. Like we're setting up meetings and putting people into that meeting and assigning them different roles and tasks. And that's an event, and that's event organizing, and
Yeah.
handling that at the back end is actually a skill. In fact, I'm so amazed by that, because learning all about the back end work, and it's a kind of leadership, then how to communicate, bring people in to a common cause. I really applied it to other aspects, in fact, with like organizing mga, like in your work, perhaps in my small team, like organizing events, organizing, and you have a structure. So it's amazing how you learn all of
Yeah.
those through Toastmasters, no?
Yeah.
And yeah, for those of you, by the way, watching this right now, I'm Attorney Jared. Thank you for checking out. Leia and Joshua. For those of you who are watching this, I have like 6 people like on this specific feed that I am looking at. Feel free to comment or give a question if you have any for us, for both of us, especially to Toastmaster Julius about public speaking. And if you've noticed, no, ang galing niya mag hand gestures, mga ganyan. So maybe if you have questions about that, let me know. Joshua is saying, I'm learning so much. This is great. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. So another thing that I'm really curious about to Toastmaster Julius, no, is that this empathic listening, and I would just want to put that out there, because as people, as individuals, we don't usually use that. And in fact, this goes with sales. I'm going to harp on the sales. I'm going to focus on that, because a lot of our listeners might be into sales or business per se. Yeah. And sometimes this is actually that causes problem, because you are there to sell them, and you're not actually listening to that person. Yeah. Can you share more about that in terms of like the business setting of this empathic listening? How can we apply this and make use of this? Yeah.
Yeah. I'm part of IBMC. If some of the audience know this, of John Orana. And
John,
there's this principle which they call the KILITI principle, KLT. Okay, KILITI. But actually, KLT means know, like, and trust. So that's a know, like, and trust. Now, in a business context, actually, and especially in the field of sales, I think we can all identify Dave, right? Let's say we go to a supermarket or a department store, and we're simply gazing and looking at the items for sale. And then suddenly someone approaches, a sales lady or salesperson, and really, with much gusto sells this item. And the usual reaction is that instead of you desiring to buy this item, sometimes it tends to repel you because it's too much selling, right? Now, what I learned from all the workshops I attended on business and the books I've read is that selling, what is paramount to selling is that the customer can feel that you really value what he or she values. And for that to happen, that means you should be able to simply let be the customer, connect with him, and for you to connect with him, simply listen emphatically to what he or she may be saying, not just in words, but in actions. Because I can really attest to that, Dave. Whenever I go to the department store and somebody hard sells something on me, I tend to be repelled. But whenever I enter a store and I can simply see a sales lady who approaches me but gives me space to appreciate the token or the item that I would want to buy, and she or she simply asks me, "Sir, anything I can help you with?" I'm more drawn into that. That invites me more because the question, "Can I help you anything? Can I help you with anything?" is actually a question which is trying to ask me, what do I value, and how can I empathize with what you value? So that's actually the power of emphatic listening from a business or sales context, because when you listen emphatically, you give the message to your buyer or to your customer that I value what you value, and I would want first to know what you really value. And when you do so, you connect. And when you connect, you build a relationship. And actually, business is all about building relationships because you would
wow,
want to
yes.
add value to the other person through your product or service, right?
Yeah.
So, but you were able to do that because you listen emphatically.
Oh my
You
goodness,
try to
yes.
know what the customer values by emphatic listening through the question. Yeah.
Yeah. You, as you can see, guys, ang galing na mag-answer ni Toastmaster Julius. And in fact, we have parang na-convert na natin to si Joshua. Toastmaster. He's joining Toastmasters now. Yeah, maybe wherever you are at, Joshua, no, you might want to check out maybe his club or our club later on. We'll share about those where we can find
Yes.
and connect. But yeah,
Yeah.
nonetheless, this is I think I'm trying to put an angle with all of these public speaking because as I've mentioned when we started this podcast, this episode now, is it's really a valuable skill and a lot of people put it lightly lang na parang it's just public speaking, it's for old people or for but the thing is the life skills the you learn from it is actually pretty useful kahit saan may it be negotiating. And I like how you answer with have starting with can I help you, yun, I mean that's an observation. And if you're part of this club or if you're just aware of that now, the communication na if you're aware of like oh yun pala that you should start with that pala, you should be more on the helping side and asking them what they need. And yes, very valuable. I hope you're learning from that. I think they're really enjoying this content. And yeah, so here's the thing, no, I'm curious about this. You always mention and quote this guy, or get lessons from him, John Maxwell, diba? So can you share a bit about what this is all about? I'm also curious about this coaching team that you have, by the way. So what is this John Maxwell team of speakers? Can you share more about it?
Right. So, in essence, the John Maxwell team of coaches, speakers, and trainers is a worldwide team of people who simply want to add value to other people through leadership, communication, coaching, speaking, basically, and
Mm,
facilitating trainings. Now, the beauty behind this is that it has this beautiful synergy with our Toastmasters Day
yeah.
because they actually reinforce each other. In terms of the public speaking skill, I definitely learned a lot from Toastmasters, and I am basically applying it right now and in every area of my life. But in terms of depth of content about leadership, which is likewise a very important tool, then that depth of content about leadership is, I would say, very much profound in the teaching materials of the John Maxwell team. Uh, yeah, because as John Maxwell would say, all of us are actually leaders because all of us influence at least 10,000 people in our lifetime.
That's the first time I heard about
So,
that.
yeah,
So we influence
at
10,000 at
least.
least. Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
And Dave, that's actually for an introvert. An introvert
Really?
influences, yeah, at least 10,000 people in his or her lifetime. And you can imagine for non-introverts, how many people you influence, right,
Yeah.
in your lifetime. So actually, whenever you influence, you lead. You lead that person towards a shared vision or towards a shared goal. So I'm a believer. So let me go deeper in this, Dave, and let me connect this with my depression
Yeah,
topic.
please.
I am really a believer of the necessity of empowering leadership in our world today. Why is that so? It came from a certain period of my life wherein I experienced what we would call depression. Actually, it was chronic depression to be exact. I would not go into the details, but basically, it was a result of one leader in my previous life who failed to exercise responsible leadership, and thus that resulted to my hearing a premature news in terms from a corporate perspective, which led to my depression previously. But it's not all about them, it's also all about me because during that time I failed in terms of leading myself. As they would say, the first person that you need to lead is yourself. You cannot lead others effectively if you cannot lead yourself effectively. And in that time, I failed to lead myself because I was trying to find my worth in terms of worldly titles.
Mm.
So when my corporate worldly title was taken away from me, I plunged into depression. And for more than a year, I was a walking zombie, so to speak. And after that event, after through God's grace, I was able to overcome that depression. Then all the more, I came to realize really the value and power of leadership. Not just leadership of other people, but most especially starting with me. I must be able to lead myself effectively if I were to lead other people effectively. Because the first person that you lead is you, as what John Maxwell would say. So it is coming from the context that I would say right now I am very much passionate about leadership that empowers other people. A we-centered leadership, not a me-centered leadership. A leadership that intends to uplift others instead of pull others down. And of course, along with this leadership, what makes it more beautiful is that while I'm in Toastmasters, the very important skill of communication that should be present in leadership is very much enhanced in me. Thanks a lot to Toastmasters, which is really adding value to me through experiential learning or learning by doing, right? As they say.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's it, Tim Dave. So that's how that's the seamless connection, I would say, between my passion for leadership, communication, and from a certain pain point in my previous life, which when these three things synergize, then this is now what is fueling my passion, fueling my purpose in life, I would say.
Yes, very amazing answer. Thank you for sharing that, by the way, to all of our listeners and for those of you who are watching this. Hope if you can relate, let us know. A lot of us gone through that. I think we do have some instances in our lives, unless everything's perfect, right, with your life, which is usually not the case.
Yeah,
I just learned, by the way, na parang all families are kind of dysfunctional now. There's a certain level of dysfunctionality. So yeah, I mean, all of us are broken in a sense, and really looking into that, like how can you lead yourself, and also finding the right community to support you, and a way for you to realize now, oh, I can also be better, no? Or I can also lead other people then. And in fact, I think it's very powerful. The moment you mentioned, 10,000 people, you can influence them in your lifetime. Uh, it's just crazy to think about that, because no matter what we do, we actually affect other people's lives. And this just
definitely.
quantifies it, right?
Yeah.
It makes it, there's a number now. Thank you for sharing that. That's the first time I've heard about it. I always say, and I'm talking a lot about this now, but I always say that, Tony Robbins, let's say Tony Robbins, or even John Maxwell, you know him. I kind of heard about him, his books. I've seen it, but I haven't read the book. But there are actually a good number of population. In fact, I did a seminar, in my side gigs, Now I talk about Tony Robbins. Oh, he's the number one, whatever, public speaker, public trainer, mga ganyan, about empowerment and entrepreneurship, whatever. And these people, mga younger individuals, don't actually know him, and that's the truth, in the Philippines.
Yeah.
And some people know Pacquiao we all know Filipinos know Pacquiao, but in America or in Europe, perhaps no one knows Pacquiao. And that just goes to show na you as a person, if you discount yourself, diba? Sometimes we discount ourselves. Now we can't affect other people's lives. We can't touch people's lives. Or I'm not gonna share this solution that I figure out because it's out there naman eh. Diba? Sometimes we think about that. No? Someone's doing that naman eh. Someone's podcasting na. Someone's like, nandun naman si Bo Sanchez or something like that, right? We're mentioning names here. But you know what? Bo Sanchez might not be even able to reach a lot or most of you. So don't discount yourself. Share what you have and this goes for everyone watching this, really.
Yeah.
You can affect people one way or another. Lead yourself first, as Toastmaster Julius mentioned, and then lead others to that wonderful vision that you have. And I think that's a way to make this world a better place, definitely. So,
Indeed,
wow, thank you for that. Okay, here's my next question. I'm actually enjoying this conversation, and I think a lot of our
Same here,
listeners,
Dave. Yeah.
a lot of our listeners, we have Joshua here, Isael, mentioning that our area director daw. Oh,
Oh,
my
thank you,
fans ka
thank
na.
you.
And si Leah, thanks for inspiring us. So, all right. So my question is, I noticed, and if you guys have noticed, ang galing niya ganito, shared about this second point here. Love, and as a Toastmasters or someone who's keen to public speaking, I easily notice those techniques, how to like really share your message through your actions, your intonation, and all those things. No, so can you share us some tips, Toastmaster Joes, and how you're able to do that? Because even I watching you, wow, ang galing, right? So yeah, can you share about how you were able to do that and make that happen? No.
Yeah. I would say, Dave, that it all starts with one philosophy which I learned from a fellow Toastmaster, which is our last year's national champion for prepared speaking, which is Toastmaster Ned Perez.
Neb, yes, I know him.
Yeah, Toastmaster Ned conducted a speech craft in our company. And if there is one thing that I can clearly remember to what he said, it was this. The most important component of public speaking is not the speaker, but the public. Again, the most important component of public speaking is not the speaker, but the public. Or in essence, it is the audience, right?
Sige.
Because when you have that in mind, then it will be automatic that whenever you are on a stage, your first intention would be to add value to the audience, not to preserve yourself, right? And when that is your mindset, then you become less conscious about yourself. No? You can talk freely, you can move your hands freely, because you become less conscious about yourself and you're more conscious of adding value or sending the message to your audience. Now, coming from that, since you would now want to send the message to your audience for them to really digest it, then it would come as a second nature to you that you would do everything to be able to purposely emphasize your message. And of course, coming from what we have learned from the skills in Toastmasters, Dave, we have learned that we have eye contact, we have vocal variety, and we have hand gestures, to mention some, which you can use to purposely emphasize your message. And it all starts by knowing that the intent of my message is for my audience and not for me. And of course, it does not happen overnight. Before Dave, when I was started in Toastmasters, I do speak, but definitely I was not good with gestures. Because my tendency was to simply rattle my words, just say this, say that, and just finish what I wanted to say.
Yeah, because yun nga, we're coming from, I want to say this, and this.
Exactly.
Diba? Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay, go ahead. Sorry for cutting you.
Yeah, no problem. And during that time, it was not part of my philosophy that the most important component of this relationship of communication is the audience. So my simple objective was to simply say what I wanted to say, and that's it. And if that is your objective, just by verbalizing your words, that would be enough for you without any need for hand gestures or eye contact. But really, the change happened when I joined Toastmasters and I realized that communicating is not just verbalizing these words, but communicating is connecting to your audience for them to resonate with your message. And for me to do that, I would have to do everything that I can, use my hands, eye contact, vocal variety, okay, so that I can purposely, with emphasis on the word purposely, emphasize the message that I would want to deliver to my audience and for them to resonate with it. So it was a process, definitely. As they say, Rome was not built in a day, right?
Yes.
So everything worth having is a process and it will take some time. But with practice, with clarity of intention that I would want to add value to the audience through my message, then in due time, and if you join Toastmasters, you would be able to develop the skills of gestures, eye contact, and vocal variety.
Wow, ang galing. Yes, and in fact, to add on to that, if you ever join Toastmaster, if you're a Toastmaster, if you can relate, join contest because that's like
Yeah, definitely.
yun yung parang you test yourself talaga and everything is parang ang balis mong matuto of learning
Exactly.
uh, about public speaking because you're put on the spot parang you're being as they call it the yung parang you're the metal ba parang pina
Yeah.
you're doon ka na
Yeah, yeah.
boil or whatever they call it, right? Uh, so really interesting. I like it, and actually, we didn't notice the time. It's almost running up, no? So,
Oh,
guys,
yeah.
if you if you have questions, feel free to. We still have a bit of time to let us know. A lot of people are interacting. I think they're really enjoying it. Uh, I feel so empowered and inspired. Thank you, Joshua, and feel free to share this, by the way, if you like. So, I, you know what, you just shared Toastmaster Julius, no? About that. It's actually, if you think about it that way, yung audience centered. That's the core of business. This is what I've been
Yes.
talking about with mga digital marketing, whatever marketing or whatever business is because these influencers, mga magaling na mga people, and you don't necessarily, some of us assume na mga great speakers are the ones who are like eloquent. What I mean by eloquent, yung they're really good with the language, magaling yung diction, or mga words, flowery words, or mga really deep words. Sometimes we look up to them, but at the end of the day, actually, what I've noticed, yung mga who really transform are not really the best speaker, or verbally good with whatever they're saying, but what is the content and how you actually relate to them. And sometimes the great speeches are those who the audience would feel like, oh nga, no? They get this internal realization now. Oh
Yeah.
yeah, that's me. He's talking to me. And in fact, that goes with any kind of communication, maybe podcasting, YouTube, or even your posts, right? It's posting something is a communication. Yeah, and if I actually shared this I was invited to talk about podcasting in a group with sellers, primary homes, 90 people in the room, Zoom call, and and yeah, and I was like talking about this na what is in your post? Baka puro lang about you, about you, about you. This is my post. This is my leads. This is my whatever listing, diba? But not really about them. Like, what do they need? How can you support those people to make the best decision? So I think, yeah, hopefully may natutunan sila doon. And I actually got this from Toastmasters and other
Yes.
topics then. Wow, it's amazing. So, all right. And yeah, like I wanna learn more about. So I think this is my last question in my interview part, Toastmaster Julius, no. But I want to learn more about your future plan. You've got these skills. What do you think are what's the future for you? What do you think are the opportunities coming in your way, or will come your way, or you're confident that will come your way because of this skill of this whatever that you have right now?
Yeah. Wow. Great question, Steve. I always believe the quote that it's not the years in your life which will make a positive difference, but it's the life in your years.
Mm.
And coming from what I shared earlier about my depression experience, it has been my advocacy, I would say, that since I went through that stage, I would want to be a wounded healer to share the message of hope, to share the message of empowerment, and to share what leadership can really bring into the table and how leadership can make the world a better place to live in, powered by communication. Coming from that, I was able to form my personal mission statement, or call it my purpose in life, right?
Yes.
Which is to make this world a better place to live in through leading, speaking, coaching, and training. And coming from that personal mission statement, again, thanks to Toastmasters, because I'm already living out my personal mission statement, and you know the feeling of knowing that you're fulfilling your purpose in life. It's so great, and in several capacities, I'm already leading. And in the corporate context, I'm already coaching some of my office mates.
Yes.
But it is my dream to have, I would say, my own speaking, training, and coaching company. Actually, I already have a name for it.
Oh wow, that we start from the name, di ba?
Yeah, start from the name. And actually, this is a byproduct of a business workshop that I attended, which was facilitated by Dean Pax Lapid of under Bo Sanchez through the Rich Club.
Yes.
And yeah, through that process, I was able to come out with what I really want to do in life that touches base on my passion, my potential, and the pain points that I would want to address in this world. And as we all know, the intersection of your passion, your potential, and the pain points that you would want to address form your purpose in life.
Ikigai.
The three P's, okay? Passion, potential, and pain points. So coming from that, it is my dream that one day I would be able to officially launch this coaching, speaking, and training business, which I already have a name for.
All right.
And actually, I was already able to develop a business plan behind this one.
Okay.
It's just a matter of executing it. And this coming October 29, that would be a game changer because this coming August 29 is the International John Maxwell Certification event. So in the past year, in the past 13 months, I have been going through some online training, and that will be capped by the certification process, which is happening online this August 29. So once I have that certificate, I would say that it would be one of my springboard to move a step forward in my plan to have that speaking, training, coaching business.
Yes.
And the leadership business. So, and of course, I am very much enabled by all my learnings in Toastmasters in the avenue of communication and leadership. And yeah, through that, I would really want to rally the value and power of empowering leadership. A leadership not about me, but a leadership about we.
Yes.
Yeah, a leadership that lifts people up and helps make this world a better place to live in.
All
So
right.
yeah, Dave, I look forward to be able to launch that company. And
Yes.
Yeah, actually, I'm also on the lookout for people who I would want to invite to join me, and perhaps we can have coffee sometime, Dave.
Yeah, with all this pandemic going on, maybe virtual coffee lang, no?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, thank you for sharing that. Maybe soon, once we put this episode out there, I'll ask for that link for that so that people can go and check it on it. Kasi the good thing about this podcast, no, is that once it's in Spotify or on Apple, it will always be there and the links will always be there. So yeah, soon please share the links, especially if my website or Facebook page ka na. And what do you think, guys? I think TM Julius would be really successful with this. What do you guys think? I mean, he had all the skills and the mission and vision and the why of doing this. I think you're in for a good treat in the next couple of years. Toastmaster Julius, congrats ahead. Amazing.
Wow,
what do you think? So I'm enjoying this, and we now move on. By the way, Toastmaster Julius, I didn't mention this ahead because you're a Toastmaster. You're good with this. It's like a table topics fast round.
Yeah. All right.
For those of you who don't know table topics, ask TM Julius later on. Message him. But yeah, so this is what we call the lightning round, and here you just answer as fast as you can when you go through the questions. Now, and I'm gonna ask some interesting questions. So first and foremost, are you ready? By the way.
Yes, I'm ready.
All right. So who or what inspires you?
Life's purpose inspires me. To be able to fulfill my life's purpose, that is more than enough inspiration.
Amazing. Great answer. So, do you have a morning routine, TM Julius, that you follow?
Yes, I do have. I believe in the power of habits. I wake up at 5 a.m. I have my prayer time thereafter. I do the morning rituals, take a bath, breakfast, and yeah, do some stretching exercises. And those are just some of the things that comprise my morning routine.
Amazing.
So
Yeah,
yes,
I
indeed.
think you're in the miracle morning group, no, from 5 a.m.
Yeah, yeah.
I've tried to get there till Julius, so maybe I'll join you with that. All right, so now you're a coach. You're part of John Maxwell. You have a lot of there's table topics. I mean, table Toastmasters. So, what are other resources if you have a book in mind or a course that you can recommend for people who might want to start public speaking, or just life in general that can improve their lives? Can you share one of those?
Well, if it would be a book, I would recommend the book of John Maxwell, which is entitled Everybody Communicates, but Only a Few Connect.
Mm.
But more than that, I would like to invite them to join Toastmasters,
Of
definitely.
course.
It would be an amazing experience. I guarantee you guys. Yeah, you would be really be filled with much joy that you cannot contain if you join Toastmasters.
Oh, I love that. And yeah, so here's another question. Do you consider yourself successful?
That's a good question, but maybe I would want to answer the question by a question. What would be your definition of success?
Yeah, because that's this is a trick question actually, Tia Julius. No, now
Yeah,
people actually have different definitions of success, and we've interviewed here people who are really ultra successful. By their by how we see it, like someone who has like thousands employees already, but they have different answers to this. So I'm curious about your answer of your definition of success and where you are at with it.
yeah. My definition of success would be knowing my purpose in life,
Mm.
growing to reach my maximum potential, and lastly, but I would say the most important, is sowing seeds that benefit others. For me, a successful life would be living out my life's mission and at the same time adding value to other people. Because for me, I cannot visualize success without other people. If my
Yeah.
life lived a life of meaning, which added meaning to the lives of other people, then I
Mm.
would say that I am living a successful life. So the question is, am I living it right now? I would say, through God's grace, yes,
Yes.
but definitely
More
I'm
to
not
improve though.
yet perfect, right?
Yes.
I'm a work in progress and it's a daily journey. But the important thing is progress, not perfection, right? As they
Yeah.
say. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
All right. So tips for those Toastmasters watching this. I actually say this a lot in my evaluation. No, evaluation is a portion in Toastmaster. Yeah, join Toastmaster if you're not. But I always say for those Toastmaster, I'm speaking to you. I always say this that the biggest room in the world is the room for improvement.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
yes, we're
Definitely.
all work in progress. We're all masterpiece in
Yeah.
progress. So I love that answer. Thank you for sharing that, Toastmaster Julius. And yeah, my second to the last question is we've built this podcast because we and I actually shared a bit about this earlier, but we built this because a lot of our Filipino brothers, sisters, ninongs, or uh, most of us Filipinos actually go outside the country and work really hard, sacrifice a lot of things like time and family just to earn money, right? And or those who are in the Philippines anyway, but still stuck with a job that they really don't like, or maybe they're not too passionate about. And here we are talking about fulfilling our life's purpose. So, what is your advice to these people who might want to take the next step to becoming a better, reaching a better goal, or starting a business perhaps, or starting their own career as a coach, like what you're doing?
I always believe in the philosophy that everything starts from within. So, in the aspect of business, if you want to start a business, the first step to take is not to read books about business. Actually, the first step to take is to search yourself. Because when you
Mm.
know yourself, you know your passion, you know your potential, you know your purpose in life, that would be a starting point for being able to identify the business that you are called to, the business that your DNA was made for. Now, once you know that, Of course, it would not be a better process, definitely. You would
Yes.
have to do the fundamentals. You would have to have a business plan. And of course, learn from mentors, experiment, take risks, be willing to fail. Okay.
I love
But
that.
you need to take the necessary step. So, coming from that, let me go back to what I mentioned earlier. All starts from within. It all starts from within you. And if you'd really want to pursue a certain business, you'd want to have a purpose driven life, the first step is not to go to the world outside, but the first step is to explore the world inside of you.
Mm.
Know yourself, know your passion, know your potential, know the pain points of the customers that you'd want to serve. And by doing so, you're off to a good start, I would say.
Yeah.
We all know, Dave, that business is not easy, right?
Exactly. Yes.
It is not easy, but the question is during those tough times of business, when you are walking through the valley of the shadow of death, as Dean Pax Lapid would say, one thing that will sustain you is your passion for your business. That's why it is important that your business will be hinged on your passion. And you will
Mm.
only get to know your passion if you know yourself. Okay? You only get to know your purpose in life if you know yourself. So everything starts from within. It's also like leadership. Leadership is an inside-out job.
Yeah.
You develop first the leader within you, then you can lead the other people towards your shared vision once you have developed your own personal leadership, if you have led yourself. So start from within, then it will go without.
All right. Amazing. Sample lang yun, guys, ha? So if you want more of his coaching, oh, yun, ito na, Toastmaster Julius. If you want to learn more about where you can find him, and if you like this content, I think a lot of people are liking it. Uh, with like I'm seeing 20 people plus coming in. So where can we find or where can we connect with you right now, especially that you're still working on your business name or your company name? Yeah, let us know where we can link with you, how we can find you, how we can connect with you, Toastmaster Julius.
Yep. You can simply connect with me through Messenger or Facebook. It's simply Julius J. Cruz.
Yes.
So it is what it is, as they would say. And also, yeah, you can reach me through my Outlook email, also julius.j.cruz@hotmail.com. Okay. And yeah, I'm just a chat away if you need something,
Yeah.
a word of an insight, or maybe something I can help you with coming from my own experiences.
Yeah.
Then I would be glad to be of help. Yeah.
All right.
To you. Yeah.
Yeah, and don't forget to mention your club. Come on. Where can we find
Definitely.
your club?
Yeah, I'm part of Amplion Experia Toastmasters Club. It is a corporate club, and we meet every other Thursday. That's 2 Thursdays a month,
Mm.
from 12 o'clock in the afternoon to 1:30 in the afternoon. So if you'd want to join our Toastmasters Club meeting, just message me. If you would want also to join other clubs in Area 1, which is under
Yes.
my watch, yeah, we have Laguna Toastmasters Club, we have Babi Calamba Toastmasters Club, and Babi Lawa Toastmasters Club. I'm just a message away. PM is the key, as they would say.
Right. Yeah.
I'm just a message away, so I'm easy to reach. So I would be glad to read your message and connect with you.
Awesome. Yeah, and I'm of course I'm from Cebu South Toastmasters.
Of course.
Yeah, so please if you want to, we're all online now. Most of our clubs are online meetings, so
Yeah.
it's a good time to check out Toastmasters if you don't have the, a lot of us reason out now, oh, it's too traffic to go there or it's too hassle. Go and check it out now. It's we have like every day my meetings, Jan. Even international, you can join. Interestingly, some
Yeah.
of our friends are doing international, joining Toastmasters in Asia and even in US. So wow, this is very jam-packed, Toastmaster Jules. I so appreciate your time for being here. I know you came from work. I know we had this issue with the scheduling early last week. I'm sorry about that, but
No
I think
worries.
I think you really did justice to this. Amazing content, guys. If if you want to learn more about public speaking, or if you know anyone who loves this content or would love this content or needs to hear this content, feel free to share this link. And definitely this show, by the way, will come out in our Spotify or Apple or YouTube, actually, once we all set up the editing and all that, adding some of the sound effects, no? But nonetheless, I'm so honored to have you here, TM Julius. Thank you for watching. Thank you, everyone. Just mention a few names: Evie, Isael, Joshua. Thank you for your commenting on the main page, and I'm seeing your comments. Feel free to connect as always. And this is me. All right, that's it for me, really. By the way, and in addition to Toastmaster Julius, I might be able to help you with the online. If you need to do it online, parang coaching or course, I just started my own for the podcasting. Yeah, it's my first try. Not because really it's but because I want to learn more about how to do that, like the online, parang submission, online payment, mga ganyan. So it's pretty interesting world. To be honest, I'm adapting to this new normal. So hopefully everyone watching this is as well. So yeah, if you need help with that, we can definitely go on and talk about that. I can share to you some of the best practices, or as I know as best practices for it. Nonetheless, that's it for me, guys. Watch out for next week's episode. We are yet to schedule it, but yeah, I have someone in mind already. Hopefully you will check that out. We post regular content here on this page, and yeah, check out our past episodes too. So that's it for me. That's my name is Dave. This is TM Julius Cruz. Follow him, and wishing everyone a good evening. Stay safe, and hopefully you see, think, and act big. Bye.
All right. Okay. Bye.